enti me jedi say obia wo ye badwin ba bia ubetumi akari kwa me kuma hu say o ye papa bebere so ye boni so ebipi nso bi enti ka no samle no etumi ko elections ema ye twaba edi side say when you peno ana when you peno ana kwa me kuma to aso a kasa ku no kamba na economic hardship a Ghana for no eno so nipa enka kwa me kuma die ema ni nimunyam di mu paye adwuma oye wo Africa the pan africanism no na no de bia no me say eno na ma kata bia eninyoma anko ye wo efie no. But domestically there are so many scholars almost actual books detailing problems in Ghana both economically and politically and all security wise and all that. And we are saying nipa na be no pa o me just say unim say obi anyone no be kwame kuma chain kojobo tio ni komla gbedema
yes
echire kura na ope gbedema ache no ama gbedema edwane kotra Germany eti it's a worshiping nipa. I see ye nipa ye send ye fata. And baby nipa so ye for so no. I see a pointing out. Now you say your family say oh where do you nyamia nisa? Entisa. Eti se Kotoka. Dientia ye di ko airport no to Kotoka no me de nam me sa.
Yes.
But penny some say ona o yi Ghana free sa o how no. Ena omukukunu wo airport ho etom decide say
the airport ne beto
anye biano obi anye biano epoye nka ye say dictatorship enya de papa so open nkuma o so open nkuma o e wo so ogitum say by the time 1966 school no buy no na ye wo constitutional dictatorship. Na kuma in fact think of what Kaka say kwame kokwa bebie no kwame kuma tumi ye just obetisa obada ni no bema na no there is no democratic state etumi mani pa bako tumi sa enti Kotoka no anye bia no ye de kai say enti se Ghana ye tira ho ma obi bedi en so sa bioda kuma time no sa example no enye alefapa enu chese enkuma nye obia ye betumi abaje no so oye obia me jedi se Ghana nyina no oye obia ye betumi di atu ho amanane se ye na ifri Ghana kwame kuma ifri Ghana kwame kuma largely nam so na oyi krabae nyam kwame kuma so the freedom fighters the be oji won ha o hwe won car odima African countries said be almost so many fa hundie ni adadi ni ya de papa be je di say African Pan-African solidarity no obi entumi ji won achinie eso no e wo so ye de facts no to be eda Kotoka na onye nipa boni say oye kunu just for no self glorification na we bisa. I believe that the circumstances were such that that coup happened because there was no other alternative. And because at that time, Ghanaians felt quite liberated from the suffocation of the regime. And then Kotoka being killed at the site of the airport is why he was named. Now, media, the Americans say, "You book Kotoka dia, they also Ghana for kind of thing." And she say, "Your man, a baby, better your conscious abioda." That's all.
Yeah, but because this is such a divisive issue in terms of the name Kotoka on the airport, no, unyi ni se Ebeya Accra International Airport na etrio akwakotre the etre no obi asomadwo no. Odwen ho saying.
I don't see so there me di kankan no saban no san opeso ya okay but o say kamima me ke bra mamu no any freedom no wo kamima me ke bia mamu mu no is so important unless you know that high but it is so important. It is the lifeblood of a society, of any republic, to have freedom, to have the freedom of expression, freedom of movement, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press. And those are important. And I think in liberating ourselves from the 1966 regime of the CPP and Dr. Nkrumah, it is an important statement. Say Ghana for your personal freedom, no? And I think that is what Kotoka represents. Say roundabout to be but in any event, Obi, I did for 60 years.
Yes,
I think.
Yes.
So many CPP government by a PNP. Dr. Lima Gom,
yeah.
So I think the woman a person are the ones provoking the divisiveness, because even when a CPP government was in power, they left it alone.
How about those who believe, sir, we've created a certain international image for Nkrumah, and in building country brands, no, and we hear individual brands, no, to push the country's brand into uko we are see baby and album Nkrumah obi anim say Ghana. If visitors come to Ghana because of Nkrumah, now Mudru airport, Kotoka International Airport, say, oh, why na Kotoka? Not the narrative, and they say, oh, on the O2 Nkrumah. Yes, the reasons, as you say, may be justified or not, but on the 2 Nkrumah, are we not then creating this incoherent way in the minds of the international community?
Not at all. It simply means that Kwame Nkrumah was not perfect. Nkrumah was a human being. He was not perfect. And though we may choose a MPP abine, and I be Nkrumah FM. Send it here. It didn't have international standards for a place that Fatah said our first president, Nimoso Leon Bewo.
Yes.
Ghana ebeshe Mosodion no ebeboana you people na. But it doesn't mean that you before don't remember that there were parts of Nkrumah's legacy that were negative. He was a man, a human being. And it takes nothing away from his legacy to note that he was overthrown in a coup because of some of those deficiencies. I don't think we want to tell the world that Nkrumah was he was a saint. I don't think that so. A lot of people in Africa know Nkrumah's history, and normally you say certain circumstances in Tina or and yet they voted for Nkrumah overwhelmingly as the
African of the millennium. Yeah.
Yes, I don't think it takes anything away.
Yeah.
Somebody is extolling the virtues of Thomas Jefferson. You cannot do that and take out the fact that Thomas Jefferson was a slave owner. And yet we can still isolate his good deeds and say, on balance, Thomas Jefferson was a good man.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Kotoka being a symbol of freedom and liberty in our country is more important than perhaps showing the world that Nkrumah was overthrown because of this and that. That's why I said to you, unless we do not value freedom and liberty, unless we do not want to tell our children that we should never live under that kind of yoke in this country, unless we want to sweep that under the rug, then it's okay.
And say, left for you alone. I mean, government has a decision to make, but left for you alone, no. Omujai no MIA Kotoka International Airport nanka for the reasons you stated, right?
One, the other thing is, and you mentioned it yourself, Kotoka International Airport itself is a brand.
Yes.
For many years, everybody associates Ghana with Kotoka International Airport.
Yes.
The coal handles and the branding and so on, the civil aviation, just as JFK is JFK because and so when they tag your luggage, they put JFK because it's John F. Kennedy International Airport. The same way they put KIA for Kotoka International Airport. And I'm wondering whether it is worth it because there is something there. Kotoka is not a demon. His his coming into the limelight stands for something. And unless we don't care about those things, as I keep saying, freedom, liberty, unless we don't care about those things, and unless we want to glorify Kwame Nkrumah as a saint, then we ought to keep. Then we ought to get rid of it, just like that, willy-nilly.
Very well. Nana, my nase for your input into this conversation. Bibi enia yebesi edi nkomobio. Why?
Take care, Obi.
Yeah, that's it. Take
care.
Nana Bediatuo Asante, or a former secretary to the president, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, and Ode Nadwin by on this very, very interesting debate. Koso. But mesre for papa, especially more manone. Baby now sending me messages say stream no etikoi. Yes, etikoi. Inti atiako twice. Monfanche basisiano yasen back, and I hope this time it stays throughout the rest of the show. Inti you can still connect to YouTube. Now share a live stream, Ewo YouTube Asempa 94.7 FM. When you get there, please subscribe to the channel. Papa subscribe to the channel. Ubitima click on the notification bell. Yeba live be a ubenya notification. And please join us on YouTube and get to watch our live stream. You don't have to miss out on this very interesting debate. And I've received quite a number of your messages. 0548443523. Obi, good afternoon. The historian you interviewed was too biased. He sees no wrong in Nkrumah. To him, everything Nkrumah did is right, or Nkrumah does not do any wrong, which I think is problematic. History has taught us that Nkrumah did some wrongs to some innocent people, but the historian does not mention those things. If these things are going on, then how can we learn the history of our country correctly? Sadat Ewa Sabon Zongo here in Accra. Obi, please ask Nana Asante Bediatuo, was it legal for Oliver Bakavomawo to be imprisoned for his post on Facebook by his cousin Akufo-Addo under democratic rule in comparison to the JB Dankwa issue? Oliver was not imprisoned, no. I think he was in custody, and he was not convicted and sentenced, as it were, if that is the import of your message. But he was in police custody for some time. Mini ni ayikoi otu enin komo oye former Attorney General and Minister of Justice for the Republic, and a former High Commissioner to Canada, I think. Yes. Ni ayikoi otu oye lawyer ni penyi pa ewo yemai. Council, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
Good.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a very interesting debate. The proposed renaming of our international airport here in Accra from Kotoka back to its original name, the Accra International Airport. Where do you stand in this debate?
Well, okay. As you are aware, I am president of the Gadambi Council.
Sure.
So we have been fighting for recognition of personality and our culture and respect for our people. So taking our time from the fact that Kumasi was changed to Pembe International.
Yes.
Our view that we don't lack prominent academies who can equally be named, the airport could be named after. So if you ask some of us, we are not speaking as lawyers or as politicians,
sure,
but as members of the academic council. This lady and after academy. There was a similar incident where the Accra Sports Stadium was named after Babaya.
After Ohinijan Sports Stadium.
Ohinijan.
Sure.
Sure. When I was in Kumasi. And then people again said that we were not being shown any respect.
Yes.
And if you recall, I think there was Akwaba at the airport, which are people also take the case and have been saying that we have our own either Wawa 2 or Obake.
Yeah.
Obake.
Yeah.
So these are what would convince us. But if you ask me generally, you would realize that sometimes when people go through some traumatic experiences like that, then it's like you try to commemorate them or to perpetuate their memory, like in the case of JFK, they named the airport names. And if you remember, in those days, Kotoka was murdered around the airport.
Sure.
And so some people felt that the tragic nature of the event, very sadly, is memory being, perpetrated. And that's why they say what after him. It appears very anachronistic according to us, because if it was an old colonial airstrip, which was turned into an international airport at the time in Goma, and this was the same individual who overthrew him, now bearing the name. So after some time, it's like there's been some topical, as to whether or not the name should remain. So this, to me, this is the background that I see.
Yeah.
Surrounding this whole
and I love the angle you bring to the discussion. I mean, from the perspective of the Gadangbe Council, and we know there are some really prominent Gadangbes in our history. 2 or 3 names that jumps at you, who can easily, which names can easily be put on the airport? 2 or 3.
We've had great chiefs who fought wars and recognized. We've had manifest achievers because we started this whole idea of professionalism and all that.
Yes.
So there are so many churches that were achieved by Ghana. And so looking for one should not be a problem. And it's something that we have discussed over the years. And I wouldn't want to rush to say that, why don't we name it after this individual, that individual? And I made a point yesterday that listening to Mama, I want to say was that they were going to present a bill.
Yes.
The Minister of Transport will present a bill.
Yes.
If it is a bill, then it's something which will be debated in Parliament.
In Parliament, that's true.
And so all will have opportunity to present papers and appear before
committees and all
for
of that.
A fuller discussion.
Yeah. But would the name Accra International Airport not suffice for you?
So we have not worried necessarily about that, but we are saying that if it would, why not the Asante?
The Kumasi International Airport. Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
I don't know, somebody was even making reference to somebody or something.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's one to change. So taking your time from there, you find that it's not so much what will suffice for anybody, but whether it's only heat and proper. If you have a source for the push, it could be a source for the government.
I get your point. I mean, as you said, once the bill is presented before Parliament, there will be opportunity for memos from the members of the public, and people can appear before committees to make arguments and all of that. So we would wait for that opportune time, and then we can have a conversation. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Council.
Okay, my brother, all the best.
Thank you. Nia Ikoyo too, Esquire, or a president of the Gadangbe Council and Motening. Can we say Obi? What will changing of name bring to the table? The previous government did the same and they suffered for it. It seems these two parties are not learning. Emmanuel Ewa La Paz. Obi, good afternoon. My name is Foster from Medina Estate. I say, let's just do it. Ghana International Airport. That's all. What will be the argument about this? Okay, Accra International Airport, Ghana International Airport. Ghana International Airport. Hey, I know they say country needing in Abeda. I don't know if there is such an example anywhere in the world. ABI is city, because I know of the Aberdeen International Airport, I know of the Birmingham Airport, I know of the Manchester Airport. In the ABI city needing a bedaso. But I say, for example, maybe a United Kingdom International Airport, and a US of A International Airport. That's some way. I don't think that there is any such example. But let's the debate continue. We say Obi, greetings. To end this political ethnicity debate, why won't we as Ghanaians come into an agreement to name the airport Ghana International Airport? This is Petit from University of Ghana. Petit, it's the same argument I made earlier. I mean, Ghana International Airport, maybe would be the first to do it. But I mean, any such examples, the country in Ato Airport, Bakoso. I've not come across any such example. Obi, we name a roundabout after Tete Kwashi because we all know that he brought cocoa to Ghana and his symbol is cocoa. So why don't we plant cocoa close to Tete Kwashi roundabout from Iwua Ebenezer or East Legon? Obi, I always feel sad when I hear intelligent people in Ghana wasting their time arguing on what will not bring food to the table. Ghanaians do not need this kind of argument. We are losing hope in the system. These are signs of voter apathy. We need meaningful ideas, not this type of wasteful argument. We are losing hope. This is telling us we don't have hope in Ghana. Alas, it was Salaga. Obi, good afternoon. Watching you live from Nkwanta in the Oti region. My name is Masawudu Hamza Junior Capello. Obi Asante Bediatuo said JB Danko was arrested not because of a crime he's committed, but rather if the minister thought he intended to commit any crime. My question to him is, what crime did Oliver Vomawo commit before his brother arrested him? Indeed, his brother didn't arrest Oliver. The state security apparatus did. But that's an argument for another day. Obi, please, let us be careful how we change names of our national installations. University names are changing. Time will tell. Maxi or Akomadan. Obi, good afternoon. Please say hi to Chairman Ampa being the current Achim Oda constituency NPP chairman, and Honorable Dennis Obinye, incoming Achim Oda MP. My name is Emmanuel Kra. Obi, good afternoon. My name is KG Shabashi from Amasaman. It can be named after the 8th Parliament. In the Yenemu Airport, after the 8th Parliament. How would that sound? In the 8th Parliament International Airport. We say Obi. The man is misinforming us about Russia. The country's second city is called St. Petersburg, named after Russia's last Caesar. He was killed in 1917 during the Russian Revolution, and the name changed to Leninburg. The name Leninburg came from Lenin, who was the leader of the revolution. Years later, after they felt there was no need to change the city's name, they reverted to St. Petersburg. However, the named leader was never banned. All the major streets in Russia are named after Lenin. The second most important street in Russia are named after Sergei Alexander Pushkin, Black Russian. Thank you, Obi. My name is Nana in Oyarefa. Nana Oyarefa, it does say. Obi, what's the... Okay. And he was not very, Fifi was not very enthused about lawyer Anoche Ninsemna Obekayene Ebi. Musa Abatwa Wasawasi. Musa Abatwa says, Obi, renaming Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport is a step in the right direction. At the very least, it will symbolize the progress and success of our nation. We cannot continue to use the name of a coup maker as a national symbol and gateway into our country. If it were named after Dr. Nkrumah, it would be highly commendable because he led Ghana to independence and served as our first president. He truly deserves such national recognition. Obi, good afternoon. Okay, Inti. Obi, I am so disappointed about this brouhaha of changing the Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. There is no difference between this and the National Cathedral project. This is nothing but only chop chop. Anti-mercy. Oh, Atakrade. Hey, anti-mercy. Obi, good afternoon. I think we have to be very careful. Why do we... Okay, I think wait for Gamel. Gamel, I've read your message already. Obi, please, good afternoon. What about the things named after the late President Jerry John Rawlings? He also was a coup maker. Okay, you add. This one says, Obi, Ghana's transport system is in a major crisis. Commuters are suffering every day. People are spending hours in traffic, struggling to find reliable buses or trotro services, dealing with breakdowns, high fares, poor road conditions, and delays that affect productivity, attendance, and even safety. Yet at a time like this, the best thing the government can prioritize is a bill in Parliament to rename Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. Let's be honest, names can be debated, but priorities cannot be confused. When thousands of citizens can't get dependable transportation to work, school, or to the hospital, government's energy should be focused on practical solutions, not symbolic distractions. If the state wants to show leadership right now, it should be talking about 1. Restoring order and reliability in public transport. 2. Enforcing roadworthiness and safety standards. 3. Expanding bus fleet and improving scheduling. 5. Fixing bottlenecks on key routes. And 6. Creating real commuter relief measures. Ghanaians need movement, not motions. Fix the transport system first, then we can debate names. James Bediatuo and anyway about a very interesting perspective to this debate. And I think the transport minister would have to take a cue. Yes, sending the bill, no. Some may think that the timing is wrong, and I agree with James. Especially when there is no concrete policy statement, on the table relative to the transportation crisis. You see, Accra. Nipa Bibrina FM. The last time we heard anything from the ministry, Deputy Minister of Transport, MP for Jomoro, Ninsemo Kokai, Deputy Minister, say economy no aye yenti nipa bebree tu afro mukroma bankran. Enti na ama Accra congested. I mean, Charlie. And that interview ni na no ama one policy decision by take it to ameliorate the situation. I mean, just say economy na aye yenti nipa bebree aba Accra. Charlie. The minister, and minister also should tell us something. I mean, yes, the Kotoka debate there, we can have that debate, but I think, as James said, there are even more bigger issues facing public transport. Obi, good afternoon. If the logic is that Kotoka did a coup to overthrow a government and that his name should be removed from the Kotoka airport, then there should be a legislative instrument banning all coup makers from being named after a national monument, including Jerry John Rawlings, who also made a coup. My name is Ghost Town, B.A. Odeshi, Yao Peace, or Asafo Achem, but Eneuti Nungwa. No, Charlie. Odeshi. We're brutal. We say Obi, Nkrumah was all the good Ghanaians can project, but he was also a dictator, you add. Kotoka was a coup maker who overthrew a dictator. Remember, our national anthem asks God to help us to resist oppressors' rule with all our strength and might forevermore. Maybe Accra International Airport may suffice as part of the misplaced priorities agenda. Okay. Good day, Obi. They can even name it after John Mahama. We don't care. It doesn't change the billions of dollars they are injecting into the economy, trying to divert attention won't work. Robert O. Ashaiman, Newtown. Obi, a belated happy birthday to my friend and very special person to me, Abigail Esiedua Boating. Wishing you continued success, peace, strength, and good health today and forevermore. You'd always mean more than just a friend to me, Abigail. Believe it when I say that. Obi Soa or Oyarefa Taiman. Obi Soa or Oyarefa Taiman. Going out to you, Abigail Esiedua Boating. My messages are about dorsal. It tells you interest amount for whatever this subject matter. But yen konkotie we emraya ba. I'll read the remainder of your messages. On file the Maya 0548 443 523 is our WhatsApp line. And my sign stream more. I'm joining you on YouTube. Ni bio say Munfanche how are you stream na akọ ene. But I think now it's very very stable. Inti join us on YouTube. Say o meka yensa. I'll read some of your comments on YouTube as well. Until let's do this after this very very short break. Yeah, basisia. Masomwa Sempa 94.7 FM. Ekosiisen dwumedie no asuguso a otie no ma yenna munyina asene yema munyina akwaba ensan fa momra Ekosiisen dwumedie yi eso safe na odo afidie no ato ha Asempa FM so enie. It's our nation's biggest and the most authoritative political, social and current affairs talk show. Yenda mo ase mo a so far mo de mo messages abenyina no yeda mo ase enti we've spent some time on this name change proposal ewo Kotoka International Airport. There is one other very critical issue I pese ye baso but ansana no mo messages kakra mekan na afi ya toaso ede amamo. And we say hi, Obi. Airports are typically named after cities or highly regarded personalities. Here are some examples. Airports named after cities. Here were London Heathrow Airport, London Gatwick Airport, London Stansted Airport, Los Angeles International Airport, San Francisco International Airport, Chicago O'Hare International Airport. Here were Dallas Fort Worth International Airport in Dallas, Texas, Denver International Airport, Seattle Tacoma International Airport, Manchester Airport, and airports named after highly regarded personalities. And so, Prempeh the First International Airport, and Kumasi. John F. Kennedy International Airport, and US of A. George Bush International, but you write Intercontinental Airport. I don't know if that's what you intended to type there, and I say International Airport. Your Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Your Washington Dulles International Airport, named after John Foster Dulles, a former U.S. Secretary of State. Okay. And Ronald Reagan, he was the 40th president of the US of A. George Bush International, named after the 41st president of the US of A. JF Kennedy, the 35th president of the US of A. You were Charles de Gaulle Airport, and Paris, named after the former president of France. Charles de Gaulle, in so history, especially his history with Africa, he was na enshada anye pleasant sir. But Indira Gandhi International Airport, named after the former Prime Minister of India, just to mention a few, Mike Bonsu and Odiwei Abba. Obi, what's important? Of what importance is changing the name Kotoka to Accra International Airport? Are we serious? In an era where neonatal children are put on an oxygen machine with men holding the cylinder on the shoulder and the doctor sitting in the boot of the taxi. Obi, the historian, is lying. Leninberg was a great leader in Russia, and most major streets are named after him. Obi, Cocoa Board is unable to buy cocoa produce. Citizens are caught up in long queues to and for work and home. And this is the priority of the minister, Onela Mponsana Ebusa. Yebeko Cocoa Board and Semne Susisi Anafe Yamamu Ehuhawa Nioma Esi Eko Inti. A farmer and a politician, a former MP for Sefiyoso, and one of our nation's leading individual cocoa farmers, Dr. Kweku Efriye Ewo Ahoman. So me no any enkomo. Doc, Ekosiisen Suni Akwaba.
I'll be made you so. The more to say,
Yamia Dumo, now so
Boko.
Na afi yato koko.
Well, a mixed picture, I told you.
Okay. Now the omoto was that been this year January year.
Oh, that be last year.
Oh, last year, you know.
Oh, let me say, sir. I were privileges, Kaka, Kuku. I did me Tommy Kuku Mao.
Okay.
I told the Biana. Omokra no more advancing is
now what they are talking
family and yet typical idea. It will be unfair for everybody.
Okay, I get you. But at least a creaphobe brain answer was actually your some patemo omuko be brain answer mudi a good dem yento. What problem near day?
Let me tell you, sir, Miami Coco crowd problem first. Now no more delay me last to come the choir and I'm the company no more.
Okay.
Almost me train. In fact, me misa me verso ni no pose ni sakansa eskanwa. Na me dey na nsan dia me na me ha me kakra kire se metie no. No mo se hamata no na ba pa enra ni no eti na nsu to se wi anti a beti kakra. Na mo ga awone side dryness no. They have a point. Who carry kuku no? This is one am evacuating in Tema. What they call Accra weight, is 2.5 kilos. One here so better. We evacuate QCD for no, quality control division for no. Emma wadi no the cordia. Now we are PC, Peterson Cracker. And now what to? In long story short, no. Now in saying with the kuku no kwa, almost some fako wa because medisi hona kuku no efon. That's if it loses moisture. You have a career on aggregate milusu. Their mechanic say farmers may be crying accepting kuku no. Nesi biye. No a war very serious dimension. Everybody is asking, hey, now we do kuku cry quiet and yimpo. And no point necessarily the bigger issue. Now say young Chinese Jessica no cry there. Or several regimes at Missy. Okay, and cannot any problem. Now say young Kuku no cry no another dimension. Having.
Now there's LBC's Ninsan Kansika.
And what do you mean to me so say? Maybe it will take a whole lecture because they are all interrelated, even interrelated with your Galamsey Assembly. But I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Okay.
Oh, so forward sales now, starting with you were possible to time.
Yes.
Oh, so we have forward sales, a futures market. No, yeah, Ghana, yeah, and first now you're mixed. Which means it may be at 30% of our produce forward sales. Now 70%, Now yatono sport market. Now amayan. But forward sales near bad. And now say Ghana ye for a star variety that you produce Yeah, na quality wise it means stabilizing and farmers no price. To the extent say to the big now reverse smuggling from La Côte d'Ivoire to Ghana. Yeah, now with years I hope you are following the American.
Me follow pa.
With years, Abrofuno, the minimum interpretation. Or more sophisticated. Michelle one Mr. King be there some 4 years back. In New Orleans. Now he's going into this cocoa marketing idea. No, so be a reconciliation. There be a reconciliation. No, I better beer. Me was more hotel crowd also have. I'm saying the reconciliation was, hey, satellite images prior to me, the amount of chlorophyll. It's very technical stuff. Now, so companies now smile any about port count. Yeah, random at the normal they are reconciled. The point I want to make is, so forward sales nothing Ghana. Because say a negotiation, you might say, you say be produces say. Into the long and short of it all, the Biane Kuntiayam. Now, you will Musana Nansen BBC loss on Ghanaians, everyone was
cocoa price na akosro pa no if you Ghana ni Cote d'Ivoire me say fi ha any anyi for her just a small area but very very intensively cocoa producing area.
Yes.
Yeah, ni Cote d'Ivoire, eastern corridor of Cote d'Ivoire. I'm talking about Abengrow, Ediba, and Western North border. Yeah, near Bray, and you be a crew. Ivorian towns are maybe born. If he or Sekojo Krum, if he Bawa Krumni, the Bisonum near the Bab Sevilla, a little part of a half. Yeah, you cook on your Arabia friend CSSVD. Now, Shena. A best boy, they move over 2-3 seasons. They move 1 million metric tons from the world market. And when a really world market price is a man could bear $12,000 per metric ton. By average, stay around 10,000. And I'm sorry, I don't make any apologies, but any political calendar will be shared. Na just will be a cocoa, a 10,000. Omunim say futures or spot market. In Naho, Naja, argument the Muina Moti to cocoa say cocoa farmers. I suspect say either party name this UNPP and say sober has rain. And woman say cocoa price no. No, because remember comparative comparison. You are Tamas or cocoa picky 3,200 crown. You see, and TB that make a coffee and media nim crass or see and will be a quassia. Now, I could do better 10,000. Now, you know how the cocoa market no settle. No cranim near be now we have to keep quiet. Because why a bidder? And I'm a kind of child. And you know, and this funny chabwe, oh me. Kopoku Madame for Agric Minister 6,000. Some say he me 8,000 per metric ton munim the omoka. And equal the nomne the friends say even in Brazil by here. I'm sorry, I'm going far away because this story must be told. Omukoko ne unyi muisa o na obi a no abandon koko. Over the past 2 seasons, no be a cocoa price no will be a in cocoa. As I speak to you now, cocoa is on the sliding scale as you see, it's over around $4,100 thousand metric tons. 4,100 per metric ton of 16 bags. And you know, what the bag Ghana let me settle on Ghanaian adi. They say a boy on the man, what the bar dollar moi, and what the best city moi, a buying boboka. That's a fact. We can translate it. And you know, I am unsustainable. Most women to me, I'm once so I'm promising. And the help you have so there's one other dimension. I've always for no. Our prices about for ma. Now, I say no master. They are used to say where market a cost road never from. Ghana, dear, and nama, dear, I may say futures market. Any forward sales near the no more buffer into price and cost row and co from the Abecanon and one. To see a culture, you know, can say a cocoa price, see, there will be mayhem work.
Problem, Beba.
I'm telling you.
No, but is it the problem? No, is it what the Cocoa Board chairman Eddie Two just said? The rate dollar na ho den so 80 seed ni nya ho den against the dollar no. Ebeha cocoa board pa eno na ama yehu de yehu ya na okay now what the man for be there me say more urban parasites. Now I'm sorry, I make no apologies because we primary producers and he has stabilized seed in one manner favor mo until we crack money idea from Vietnam near elsewhere now yatin boss baby I did fan for young class for no minimal idea occasion you turn your my cradle. No paradoxical, we don't say your macra you're producing or Ghana. Either the prices are the same or even in fact have gone up marginally. Because of cocoa gold, Sadiano. Mr. By Oma gold city no and finding in own level.
Of course, I told them we have to prop it up.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
But artificial, if I may use the artificiality, we use media. MYO. Because you cocoa farmers, no. See, I am Prince of Betty and go away the Americano. Yabono. Young Prince of Betty. Because there's another phenomena. We have buffered Ghana's economy for a long time. A year cocoa rules. And dear bank, what is a lawyer for rules and a teacher for rules and a public servant for rules? If people is bedtime, your cocoa pharmacy, so your Ufa pass whole book, we are some 850,000 or so. Your need your independent affairs phone, we are some 4.5 million people. In fact, your mona paradoxically, we've been pauperized. I mean, to have the schools and organizations. Near family rich cocoa farmer's son. And now you epithet needs a poor cocoa farmer.
Yeah.
I don't accept that. And I buy on Nigerian way. Say a year gold, a year in a cocoa, no declare no to say a year at your friends say, so commodity yan taxing be blazano. Now cocoa board so cry and shrinking. From where I sit, cocoa board is too big an organization full of political people. Yeah. Let's come clean. That young man fit for purpose. Now we have cocoa farmers because my own public servants, the whole industry is so crown. Private citizens and I buy holding prices in abeyance and I support to a man for be more you could quote. And console. That's my take on it. Their story is very, a lot murkier than you think because some big companies. Let me quickly add this. Almost all my former cartel, as I speak to you, almost stocks. Cocoa, they are holding 3 years, 4 years in stock. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire produces 62% of the world's cocoa. We don't have anything in stock. I bet me I withhold you some from the market. Market manipulation no more. 7 companies and no more yes I know them, but for obvious reasons mean to me more.
Wow.
I hope I make some sense.
Yeah. But the worry is the worry is to the ordinary cocoa farmer, and we've gotten a lot of calls from farmers across the country to say ordinary farmers, what in the cocoa in his omonia day they just have to wait time
and I can sympathize with them. The power no because rural voting and yes we said you must to abano or even rural Asante. Said you see favor NDC for. Take my word for it. Me baby I'm studying the border between 4 regions.
Yes.
Your friend say Tiffany and see across Western North no I'm in Phenomena me were full crowd Memphis and a dear so central region. Even Ashanti region and career near Eba by born number 1, number 2, no they could tell more election results. And yes, be Ashanti in MPP. The point I want to make is say Sa cocoa at the end of the NDC for any advantage, Papa. Cocoa pricing, Cassia, farmers, they were refractory to any advice. Why would you look at how I'm struggling even to explain to you, Obi, about cocoa features now linking into current prices in the account. I'm aware, sir, a lot of your listeners might not even make sense of what I'm saying, but hey, that's as far as I can go.
To answer
you directly, the answer no there. That's why I buy her.
Yeah, no one buy her.
Or more eto cocoa. No one will say. But here to no time no. Me I've always advocated say service your circle now. You get yourself into as you see ananka in say where market the forces na a year juma. Now when technology came in na bibia be asymmetrical abrofunu to me predict cocoa no. The pricing and the future production. These are big Ghana yin to me and predicting of Papa Biano. Not just we are futures market and we are for West so there be our boka. And look on a name low prices. No, it may be $1,800 per metric ton. In Tianudiana, Mamiama bank crime, see we should break out of that vicious cycle. But you know something, since possible, you know, for West you either supply the material, cocoa, no. And now I say we risk up front with interest, equity, or more man with carbon, and man will turn the following year never 2026 never is 20 year for it will affect 2026, 2027 production. And then Ghana so all the time we are not in a position to pay that kind of money. And I think so micro theoretical commodity a dollar bad direct pa mentia say wokoje sika syndicated loan mentia say wokoje dollar fili that go to fili of course unless I buy in some way I say acquire some form of soft loan be that just or no they checking the half bar. If you think about that way there you can understand. Otherwise cocoa here any syndicated loan visual circle now you're cool mono. And the man by the way, Cameroon farmers they are laughing all the way to the banks. I didn't buy no near forward sales into 10,000, 12,000 there buy no more genuine real money. I tell you.
But me way say Sisia as we speak, no, there should be a reason why cocoa farmers ewo cocoa na abine intimi and toy almost one of the quiet is kenny. Is this syndicated loan na cocoa board call your money?
Yes, there be you see a buying trap or the boca. Mr. Cocoa Yatono 6,000 one bag. Let's get to breakfast. 1 bag a year 3,625 Ghana cedis. But just is a $4 mummy.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, no quick. We divided by 10.7 and 10.5.
We'll say 6,000 saying
6,200 3,625.
3,625. Okay. Divided by 10 point. You use 10.5. 10.5. And no amount $345.
$345 no. Me so multiply it by 16, mommy, quick.
But
16 bags per ton.
Okay. And no amount 5,523.
Good. Dollars. Me see cocoa no so 1 ton to say
now
4,000 4,200.
Yes.
Who's buy boka?
Yes.
Inti na buying to me ton as simple as that. I buy see our bomb pie I can imagine. Me wa buy mu kran ka me bomb pie say you break even cocoa no cost kakra. But they also had that cocoa no kra no e beba from hwe wonim. Eya na musro China cocoa no. Darwin, Australia, no in Queensland, they say they are producing significant numbers of cocoa. Carrera, India, they are producing cocoa. By here, why the Nigeria for ancestry, no mugo, produce cocoa. Ecuador, produce cocoa. Venezuela, watch on cocoa crown as they say a billion kakra. All over the world, cocoa sadi na so we have and for your cocoa na see no CSSVD no.
Yes.
And na ko fa sa asem we nyina aba no.
And I said no
ban so ntumi am promise ya ne ho kire no a ne ho ya kire no see ya poetic justice
cocoa ne see no. I remember say cocoa board koje hu loan e wo AFDB say omo de ba be ye omo be ye a complete replanting exercise of cocoa. The last time I'm in the cocoa board, current CEO Dean Komono. Now I say hectares of cocoa farms or multi replanting. I just say enuru baby and so scanning in asa.
It's likely to be somewhere. The truth is likely to be somewhere in the middle. Me no baby or cocoa no I fine pa no cranimini. Now baby one so a combination of me maintain na make say. Model no crown ye did you a cocoa. Let me admit say a bad model. A bad model. You see me, my buying time now. So a bad model. How do I mean by that? We are cocoa, you try cocoa gua. You try gua near plantiama, but dear cry would be Diano Crano.
Not you, Diamo.
Well, we live back cry. What do you mean by that? Bianca may no matching formula.
Okay.
Who rehabilitate 1 acre? Miss Maba may rehabilitate 1 acre.
Amount.
It need not occur linearly. What I mean is that me who try 2 acres and now who rehabilitate 1 acre. I'm saying 1 acre. And now say about calculating one in terms of labor nisika. Me criticize some model because no the a farming idea. Young farmers be free crowd and you. Until let me give warning to the abandoned so a free idea. Yes, sir, and I see the you were a great minister and finance minister. Modi I didn't know about
fertilizers.
I became now Modi Bano. Moment test soil and Sana Modi Amaya you. I answer you to Skagu. The soil is we have in our last meeting. The soil pH cocoa should be 6.5. Around 6.5. Mildly acidic. And red team me could check me what they check soil at the several sites. 3.2. It is good for only oil palm, not cocoa.
Anyway, we should think about
the amount of free fertilizer. Yeah. In fact, I look at be a cocoa no.
It may be diversification will be the way to go in the long term. Oil, palm, rubber, and
Obi, Mr. Yeah, you may be brave or what, and I'm a medical background meaning. Share cocoa, yeah, can once. Unfortunately, attribution, why? Share you for yes, I'm putting this in to educate what listeners. You are for start Betty Coco, Nami Dinwa Kotinipa, or be Nami Great Minister, no committee be Kori Koshiga, Nami committee no. We took it from around 330,000 metric tons to Kofobe 850,000. Yeah, predicted said 2010, 2011. You're being 1 million metric tons. You're missing by just 1 year. And this is for buy any produce 1,050,000 metric tons. Almost one more time, no more produce cocoa. Meanwhile, gestation period of cocoa cry a year. Biological gestation period no. We are next to cry 3 years. In fact, economic gestation period is about 7 years. What I mean by that is say, would you have cocoa cry before you can break even and also obey this at the end. And 7 years, LPK 10 years. So cocoa no to see a problem and this will be facing no maybe a year some inaction and career by the same thing and now those who receive umbrage CSSVD Dr. Punit time and say mucha cocoa no go no more year there the who can ADB at the Omaniano. I know a bit two year I say we had your norms in another said they buy local. Said dear Ben, on no amakuku ni na wu no. So I shall see one more time. Cocoa assembly the any politics in film is affected so I am who on keke and yes be I'm seriously putting politics inside.
But my final point will be saying this is here no said they watch the match you know cocoa board sikano e wo ho into dollars ne wo ho but because of world market price no say omoko out koto sisi aban beboka.
They do money dollars. Says cocoa no nkomo beji or the kwaji dollars ibia.
Okay. It is your man syndicated loan nibio.
There be
okay.
And nkomo say BCC for no so omo nia omo amunyi osika. At first na cocoa price no wa high no dey nanka you no they were very enthusiastic. Inter me say sharp crisis shall say say late December year. And they were very enthusiastic. Baby, I'm talk cocoa. We are no magic, but a cocoa price no a bad say no. In fact, we won't need any choice. The price no is still in a state of flux. In the meantime, so muntu America and it could even go up a little bit and so and so forth because equilibrium no bear 1 point something million metric tons if it's a ne Cote d'Ivoire is in corridor free mono. Won't mean 1 or 2 seasons current replace it. In the cocoa price there, a very high. Let me be quick and answer 4,200 to see a cry YNT bido. Still a very, very good price on the world market. The problem more dollar CD gold for BBB to say and not me near economics now me intuition be I tell me say Ghana we haven't changed our production fundamentally. I say is stabilizing at once as my binding when commons. In fact, Africa ama inflation above from a brony idea me fear bem. Let me tell you one story. Now me anecdote no crowd will explain thing. At that year swear you were President Mahama in now me now cry so basavi. Me bear no cocoa rehabilitation main crop no me chabi cocoa no big way. But I tell upon the fertilizer and me can't tell and say me the accept you mean cotton fertilizer into a mammy be. Or mammy be. Me be a bro na bu main crop no go. Minor crop me dia sisi ame hatan o yo so sisi ame no ka say ye nya tofo MPP for ni dia say bro no enye NDC for nkrafo mutia but dia ebu ni ade nyina agric minister ni ade nyoma ye di ye policy na ye adwuma no ma lucky nti na de bia make no gestation period of all these crops you ra me kuma Eric many appointing minister or organizing me do bro ni ade enti anu na ma economy no stabilizing mainly due to food. But you see, you are being too clever. I'm hearing to some other that they should be quick to remove the ban. Because your farmers, we are suffering. See, my bro in a essay. Not no one in our beer soon. As my man and last I spoke to him, no from BC Valley, no dear more. And more won't mean your baby will be a man and talk. Oh, and you know, you're more free advice. By the way, the big thing, on Beba, just like health insurance, Nami Yan on the Papaya no insurance, NDC.
Sylvester
Beba, no CEO, no.
Sylvester.
If I don't consult to me, I'm a man of free advice. Omo idea about cocoa plus Weber. CEO, new CEO here, BFS. Madam Free.
The currency of Randy Abbey.
Man of free advice because me again. Oh, and you may be or why you bet you politically crack. What take advantage after when your power navy. No problem. Yeah, you be true and you crack. No, you are the man of free. The point I want to make is say, a country na political points are no more.
Very well. Not much in this, but say farmer be at the cocoa, na say ye metoya, it me pro.
Yes. What say, and no cocoa no cry, I can say juice sacks no.
Yes.
And no man the correct ambient at the na. Sa bi na di gum reye emode no ane aburo de reference
aburo bottom
no a eno aye synthetic no reference.
Oh, okay.
Oh, just like they say eno eno no ye di nyoma bebre na ye size na ye inti eno de odi gum a eche na odi gu sa number 5 ni number 4 sa
rubber there no
plastic adie no I know they be pro because into me home papa what I want to say make us into me home it cannot breathe and moisture content you know so kukukura moisture content me refi somebody can correct me but it shouldn't be more than 7%. I don't know, I've forgotten, but anya sa ebese it can't keep long.
Wow. Then the problem is deeper and bigger than we thought.
Oh yes. Just said the problem is deeper. Bia abano Sir, Eja, Obama is Cassis, on first canum, and then Mumma or Tiso. Said your more say yes, is Buya Quasiano. And I mean, my political advice, I would say so, because almost
Canada at this rate in Swa, a buying a book, I said, and I would say,
and when I'm in a bunkuntano, maybe more or less. Oh, a buying a boca. Once now, 6,000 quiet farmers, yes, because 3,000 quiet CMP because Erikopu Kaya can 6 cra. There is some in the heat of the minimum, say he knew better. No name says our price in Suno, a futures, and now says our spot price for the day, and your futures, sorry, spot price for the day. I'm correcting myself. Wherever I use futures, no, when you are the
spot price, okay.
Well, spot price. If you Cameroon, any Guinea, nominate almost small non-traditional. Those countries who treat cocoa as a non-traditional crop, one farmers no there. They say pineapple, no mangoes, no. They still they enjoy it, even though price no so attitude. Now, I buy heavily to do Amasama Road, Miss Annual Martina Road, yeah, they are what's there. Cocoa rose, and farmers young me bamboo check. No, me oppose cocoa rose, their concept. Are you Mahaman at the buyer? You say, I don't think I inquire farmers in Kwane, young rose among the rest of Ghana. Young woman, yes, of the poorest segment of society. Me Jimmy Sika Pranam, the Konuma petition, Bokra, lifestyle, my friend, would be our one life to live. Nobody should preach to Cocoa for you how to use his money. I buy from $1, man. I hear one way out in this, I buy up your own now. I did not on $20, Munon Farmer, and name face here.
I want to be some $5 and talk cocoa.
The business is here, dear. Obey ye now, share me my credit to be history in Americans, no. You will do by him, or this our magic number. Or propose to say a farmer shouldn't get less than 70% of the FOB price. Check. I do by him. Then one my will be sorry, I know 70, but they don't know its origin. Don't you know, 70% of FOB price be a baby on your own farmer and dollar, no more dollar account to my farmers, and they also cry in your dollar. And one, I don't know.
Very well.
And the battle side, I said, no, you just come into
and to Uncoboca. I think that also makes sense. Maybe Cocoa for no.
My mom solution. Yeah. Me a consultant or
no, okay, that's be any of us have yeah, Dr. Kwekwe Free, a cocoa farmer, former MP, Seshio, so former health minister, and Motiziano AD and Komosam. Very, very, very interesting perspectives there. And there's a cocoa board for 8 years old. Yababo Masria, any ababa bitie, because cocoa farmers na are complaining. Say, omate cocoa na ato, but nyadia abain air to cocoa no. Honorable Kwekwe Free am who say the whole reason and it say cocoa board share omu books air calculations at the current world market price no. Say omu talk cocoa na abain ebeboka. And that is why cocoa board air chain so. But that has not been officially explained to the farmers. And the farmers that's why are apprehensive. Ebi so cocoa e good there maybe the air pro in some na kwa bebre. And cocoa is a critical product as far as Ghana is concerned. Now I'm saying gold, you know, abba Ghana economy kakana until last year cocoa was a main thing for our country. You know, yes, gold, world market price, costro, your gold output, show some very, very good improvement over the last 1 year. But to me, enjoy cocoa nenso. And that's why Cocoa Board should be talking officially to the Ghanaian people. Now, what the problem is, and yes, you give room for speculation and we need some official explanations from Ghana Cocoa Board. We say OB. I have always said that we need to diversify to rubber and oil palm. Your speaker was on point. The strategy is we need to reduce production since we have no control over the global situation. Countries like Brazil, are consumed locally. It was a bad plan to have replanted because of all pest management. Planting in a disease-infested area. If you do an NPV, cocoa is less than 4%. Cocoa is less than 4 times than rubber and oil palm. Okay. Ain't one of our go-to agric expert, Kwesi Kobo, and Odiwe Abre. Yeah, that's it. Papa, we need to have him here in studio one of these days. Near Medi Cocoa and Komoye. Obi, this same issues happening in the cocoa to cocoa farmers. Happening to cocoa farmers also affected rice farmers. Obi, I have 25 acres of rice farm in Kintampo North along the Tamale Highway, a community called Kawampe, and there are no buyers. Please find buyers for us, Obi. Lamtekin Rashid. Yeah, that's it. Papa. It's a sad situation. And hi Obi, I've really liked Honorable Efree's submission. He is genuine. Jimmy Owusu quoting the way Abre. Obi, let me correct Doc that the buyers advanced over $3 billion into the cocoa economy in the absence of the syndicated loan. So there is money. The problem is the pricing gap which the government cannot support. Okay, meaning say off-takers now advances sika ediaba. In terms of money, Cocoa Board has money in dollars in excess of about $3 billion. But the real problem there, the pricing gap, because I'm buying a promise say farmers no a certain price. See world market price no airdrop. He said na Dr. Kwekwe free but won't mean so. And I will turn at the current price then so I buy beboka. It's a really tough issue, for government. Ekosiisen so the birthday wishes from Nathaniel Asaria Samoa of DBS Industries Limited to his father Michael Asaria Samoa of Koforidia. Baby na freu do the team be goal celebration. Omushe go do. And Mr. Michael Asaria Samoa, 64 years old today. May the good Lord continue to bless you. This from your son Nathaniel Asaria Samoa of DBS Industries Limited. Hello, Obi. Good afternoon. We have a big problem in Ghana. After several years of struggling to deal with a lot of things, especially the Albatross Galamsey, which is west today, as a headache as a nation, renaming of monuments. People like you, Kotoka did a coup, so does not deserve to be renamed, to be named after our international airport. But I ask, does a coup makers party deserve to rule a country in this modern world? The Transport Ministry should focus on dealing with the very challenges we are facing in the transportation space and stop these unnecessary things. Godi Uwatema and Udiwe Abre. Godi Yadase Papa. Ain't we are trying to work the lines. Say Yebenya a response from the Ghana Cocoa Board. Into Yegusua frɛ ahwɛ sɛ yɛbɛnya wɔn a na yɛne wɔn adi nkɔmmɔ. So far you realize sɛ nkɔmmɔ we hyɛ ase nyina no Cocoa Board ɛnkasa. I don't know if it's for good reason and now say explanation of the member farmers no mun share that to me in your explanation. Be about would work the lines. And last Monday I remember say by now there should have been an official statement from Cocoa Board explaining why, because the farmers are worried, But there is this message from the camp of Dr. Brian, the office of Dr. Brian Echampong. Or say Dr. Brian Echampong congratulates all patriots, especially his brother Dr. Mahamudu Baumia, on his victory and assures him of his full support as he leads the party forward. He thanks God for his grace and guidance throughout the journey and expresses sincere appreciation to delegates, campaign teams, and volunteers for their dedication and prayers. Dr. Echampo calls for unity, discipline, and purpose as the NPP rebuilds, strengthens its structures, and prepares for victory in 2028. He remains fully committed to the ideals of the party and to the service of Ghana. We message free Dr. Brian Echampo office aba say yemfanto Ghana fo nyina enim. Enti anuntina yakan ede amam, and we read it as it was sent to us from the office of Dr. Brian Echampo. Enti munshanenso emayen. Any more good news. KG Estate say mo pe asase genuine land. Ope litigation free land. Na udiesi sa dream home a ope no. Or you want to make a smart investment in land. KG Estate na wasa onu edi enkomo. In the KG Estate and Investment Company Limited. Na omode very affordable, well-located land with proper documentation, flexible payment plans. Aba KG Estate say omodwen wo ho into omonsase no ebon efo ene ye wo payment plan so e de amount. Wo a ubetimi at the etua ne nkakra. Ye office ewo Chopoli near even assassinated that Chopoli near the new airport city. And assassinated so that eben Saglemi affordable housing estate no area ho ya wonsase ewo Chopoli near the new airport city, and they been so ben Saglemi affordable housing estate. So person ne KG estate didn't come after 0555 492807 0555 492807 and 0245 523 788. Na only KG Estate in inkomo. Research and swatch say ene nipa bebre na nam Ghana ha ono nam no ne buafu na onam bibi kakra bi e be trigger na ne buafu ebufuo no ye because say omonyi omahome people don't rest well, and research has shown that lack of rest makes people 60% more reactive to negative emotions. The following day, or down I don't know why dear chair or by office and woman. O can pet, and it heightens irritability. O can pet nani buefu why irritated, you know. And now stress level so crabbesia cosro. Ain't to say person bibi say ebetua here adequate rest. Now adequate rest yet the number of hours I will be double. Mattress I would that's record because ubetimi ada 8 hours ewo merekete so be sorry na honam the air ye on wa na crank ba unya latest foam mattress papa edaswa oh latest foam oma wo Ghana have for 56 years and oma wo Ghana in the about foam adwuma ne dia the whole Ghana obi ani ho latest foam omo ye brutal men Canada inti omesi am the best value for your money omaje awards bebre latest foam there or more mattress for your age, for your sleeping posture, for your body type. Into Ubo Realitas Foam showroom, you are the friend of Comfort Expert. Comfort Expert, ewo or bet so show body, the whole body, uhia mattress way, say a pocketed spring mattress, a orthopedic mattress, a high density foam mattress, nina latest foam, be. In the only one konkodi in common or mumwao. On my website for from create latestfoamghana.com. On my building a new very interactive website. As well for papa latestfoamghana.com. In the bomarding now only one in Inkitown latest foam, your partner for life. In Ghana for Geomatum papa. Head of Corporate Communications, our Ghana Cocoa Board, Sam Jerome. Ma yene Jerome ini enkomo. Jerome akwa banet saying. Hello. Nyamiadom bibia boko. What's the problem? Cocoa board niska mo de beto cocoa anase problem ne yeden ade na cocoa farmer say complain bebre say omatic cocoa ba say mo metoy. What's happening?
Okay.
Minnesota Kaya.
Meton Kappa.
Okay. The Obi Mamincha na Mamincha for Nichi Kuku Kafo. Obi the kind of Mekan say intended I don't want it to appear say ABR a staff of Kuku board, any Kuku, Piani, and a Kiafo no actually diary. Because I've always maintained the relevance of Kuku board by extension the existence because of the existence of a Kuku Piani. And on the basis of that, I did be a Kuku Piani no Efomu and the Bonyo Sono. Yen at Kuku board and so you're born your day. You're born angel so. But the important say a name of you or Ubi, which near the extreme. Ubi the first point in the say, and yet entirely the case. Say, Kuku Kiafuni Nara as at last year. Ubi no Tung Kukua or Yeding. Unya a Yesika. Mechanism because the Osho Kuku Bodankasa, yen projection a year from a year 2025-26 season. From August last year, be a season, up to January, you project 650,000. You have to me up to about 580,000. So this talk about 580,000. It should clearly tell you, say, no crest ada step in inheritance. Kuku Kiafuni na Koton Kuku as last year, the entire Wonka. However,
Jerome, you found one after the other. Oka Asat last year, you mean time a main crop season ABA in October?
Yes.
In October now, okay. And you are saying, say, a free October air bano, mutimi to Koko nibi.
Yes, from that time out to January, Koko ayato, ya grade SC ammonia is around 580,000.
Metric tons. And another target for this cocoa season here saying
650,000 metric tons.
It is a more bear a little over 100,000. What's a motoka?
You will bear 70,000.
70,000. What's a motoka?
Yes.
To meet the target.
Yes, to meet the target.
In a free January air banner, Adentina Afemuntimi and Toy.
Okay, so Obi, they are SCNA. Now, say one, the advantage from the syndication say, unya some form of sika obeka say a ball. Out of the sika no. LBCs no etokuku no. And even on the international market, price in the $1 crown for now, we don't care. Because yechini ayedin Atom Kuku no asanso enya a secured funding run was system so we don't care. However, because in 2024 syndication now crop na yetono and Kuku dino funded by a year of taker and now say Bromina winning in Dijana or and here is the case is the moment India beans, so a better platform. The person is expecting, say, also that just born to reflect the price on the international market. Quite unfortunately, a bonus here from 2024, now almost 12,000 to now $4,100. About $4,100.
That is the price on the world markets is here.
$4,100.
A free 12,000.
Yes, from 2 years ago, now to about 4,000. In fact, as of last year, yes, a bonus crown pono. We declared an FOB of $7,200. $7,200.
Yes.
Out of which I am 70% constituting a year $5,040. Say a new but today, even a year $5,040. On the international market, it is trading at a year $4,100. Which clearly means on the face value of it, over a year $1,000 or so, almost about $1,000 a free store.
Yes.
Now, the new are auto cocoa say, Wogana, you've not even adjusted your price to reflect what is on the international market. Internet still no day, it was so. And this has even motivated other countries. Say omodi omuku mpoye day, ejeba Ghana. 70,000 na ye outstanding na will be ye kano. Obekum in natural sense in a day. FM. Because there is that possibility, say, other cocoa from other jurisdictions, other people, because Cote d'Ivoire for announcing officially, but corporate is not a ton cocoa. They are selling it, even in fact, below the 4,100 US dollars now. Meaning, say, Ghana's cocoa still remains the most expensive on the African continent. In Brunino, he is not ready. But and also, Obi, are we to go and accept a yes a bono to come and trade it? Say the money and clear for Nana, and now say it's important for us to find a lasting solution. And I look into the matter holistically and find a solution. A win-win affair, especially for a cocoa farmer. And
the Oka solution, Jerome, you say before the season opened in October 2025, more announce price and more better cocoa every farmers ho. Good. Season is still in such a way. Yes, our 2025-2026 season into a new way, and along the line. International world market price I drop it significantly. Ama continuing to pay the price you announced in October no. Sisi akwakoye den ama buying. That's the argument, right?
So Obi, to even make it quite simple for you and say, say other LBCs, your license buying companies are one and yes, a liquidity issue, and answer omunika. But instead, the obeto iti creating home at the price now a buy and review yena. Off take a bang in a year ready say of her day
or at that price
beyond a year 4,100 no. So as I said, off take a bang. And even if say a buying. They decided, say, okay, I am purchasing the remaining of cocoa na iodine, akana. Then it means on the bag, a buy should look for more than 2,300 US dollars. Because the reason, NFA, before say cocoa nimpo and do the point of shipment, not the cost involved, 6,300 US dollars. And no one say a buying a making a profit, and as the cocoa board is making profit, but the cost to even break even, that is enough. Beyond that, oh, besides, she says, season the Bianca, you know, the light crop, or more up money.
Yes.
What should I say? Obe cruising season the money. You are entering into another season, and here is the case. You say. Sana echo. That is the tragedy. Quite unfortunately for us, because of decisions taken by previous administrations, we were unable to secure a syndication. Because we have syndication, it provides some form of security for you. Why then? What sign of contract in a year? It's a beco senior, but Siciano. Bonino ye ofte kano enough stay mu say there be adwuni into akato the time say menya dem mentor I just why dem what so amame but the most important thing so kuku so finding a better solution is what cocoa board and government dem can want them. But it is not about saying because we are pay some form of to go and pay. Payments have started because funds have started coming in now. LBCs now, they are making payments.
And no, yeah, or more, Moko buy ya. Mama, or chit say Mubetu or Moka later, no. Or Mona starting receiving payment. That's what you're saying.
Of course. So, Omona, Omena a direct off taker. But Omoko pay almost source of funding.
That's for the LBCs, no?
Let me explain. I told you, sir. The off taker now tells you. The LBC, Pona, the fund the no the banner fire day. Famano. Na onto kuku nenye day. And fambreno. And you know, all these companies now are money a direct source of funding. Any free off taker no hono. They were able to buy and pay the farmers now on more day a year day. Buy, you know. And some of these companies are still having money. But the issue in say at what price?
Oh, cotton at what price?
At what price?
Yeah, but say mostly no say more fixed price for the season na. Na say enye spot price na ya mu usua. Mostly you take into consideration potential, you know, shift beba in the world market price, no, and they arrive at the final price for the season. Meboa. Into why should a drop hit you that much? I'm a
I know, sir, you and I know futures contract.
Yes.
And I say, say if they are forward sales.
Sure.
So when you do a forward sales, what it means is that you have undertaken a certain contract with the other party. Say, I am buying at this price. And I'm supplying you this XYZ amount of tonnage.
Yes.
And I said tons.
Yes.
So be as it may, whatever that happens, in the case of appreciation in terms of bono and a decline in it, you don't care. And that is the benefit. So it provides some form of what? Hedging for you. Whereby if the price goes down, you're secured. But that has not been the case as at a year 2024, 25, 2025, 26.
But 2025, 26, why was it not the case? I didn't know forward sales because 2025, 2026 was under you.
Yes, of course. It wasn't the case because over the tour, a year a rollover of 333,768 at a certain price of $2,600. Unfortunately for you, in 2024, 25, sell 2,600 contracts are expanded from a year 2023. A bono could due a year $3,100. That was what was even declared. So even if that was what was declared, then it means that there's disparity in terms of a year a bono then ankasa. Going forward, what also an increment in price again? Ultimately declare an FOB of even 7,200. Obi, ask yourself, as a lawyer, what signed a contract, and the price at that time was 2,600. So would you say, sir, Obaji Aya was our kukuno, and now say you obey that one and sign on to a new contract to purchase it as at $7,200. So now the off-taker comes and say, okay, what I'm going to do is supply me the contract I had with you. I'm a 2,600. I am taking that one, and I will also give you some money and sign a limited contract with you for the new crops
crop season.
I will turn because you yourself, you don't have money because you are unable to access a syndication. Until you have no other reason than to succumb to what the person is telling you.
But the other question would be, sir, Argentina for the 2025-2026 crop season, Adena Montimi access syndication.
Montimi access because one. An outstanding, he not also the free honor. In terms of that is why the chief executive, Dr. Ranjabi, took a certain bold decision, whereby in 2025 last year, a cocoa bonds ana abano ana cocoa board also uchia, but no budgetary allocation was made in respect of that. No, he quickly has to mobilize money and pay that, just so to restore confidence in the finances of cocoa board. And I can tell you, say, the report that even came out from other stakeholders and partners, and then say now cocoa board is coming back on track. In terms of its
yeah, but Jerome, my question is no answered. I didn't want to me access a syndicated loan for this crop season 2025-2026. I didn't want to
so ukwa kope syndicated loan. I used to say what here ya woko bank akwa kope ska obi so sika wo bank. So if you are presenting your payslip from a year as that's a payslip now what they call them. It is not anything to write home or to tell anything. Do you think that the bank on the basis of that will say Obi or Fedodo?
Okay. Na cocoa board books in here, Intina Muntimi, Namu books on Fankoje syndicated.
How can you do that?
That's fine. But the other thing, so saying you opted for off takers, no air advances sika mamo, namo di ato edi amamo. That's the option you adopted, Meboa.
Yes, so we followed what was there because one, Sabekafo, the other positive aspect of it was a bit a free cocoa board, because you are not further compounding the situation of the cocoa board. Because obviously, when you go in for a syndication, it is traditionally there.
Interest,
it will attract some interest.
Sure.
Sure. It will attract some interest.
Sure.
Meanwhile, you are burdened already. Yes. Financially.
Yes.
So if you will be able to go through that. However, the chief executive had sounded a warning to say there was no way this financing model can go beyond 2025-2026.
Yeah, and
it is feasible.
And we have to go back to the syndicated model, all right?
So if you go back to the syndication, it is a subject to discuss.
That's
if
fine.
you are not going back to the syndication, so any other financing model,
that's fine.
I think discussing all these issues.
That's fine. But Jerome, see the matter at hand, see and say cocoa farmers are take cocoa. Watch them why it's not financially prudent for government to continue to buy at the announced rate at the beginning of the season because of the AC or international market, no eso. It is here no farmers no and yet another decision men are buying be take. Is it say more consider say okay, ye ka say ye bema mu say for 2025-2026 season. But in the middle of the season you drew light crop no afi ye hu say ye ntimi nkoso ntua say ska ne mamo nti ye beti mu sika ne so. Is that what you would be telling farmers no? And I know na say am odwen ho ana say bi am beti ebo ne so.
Obi, 2 quick points. One, over Ghana, we don't have a price for a light crop. We don't have a price for a main crop. And you know, beans you same price.
Yes.
Number 2, cocoa board, we don't say that cocoa board to say you share on the international market a bona and aquaform. So on the basis of that, the next day the chief executive announced say a bona conform so cocoa board at a bonus. No, we don't do that. So we have a committee, a producer price review committee, a comprising of farmers, Ministry of Finance, Cocoa Board, Bank of Ghana, hauliers or transporters, the LBCs and other stakeholders. Now, actually say, okay, so on the basis of ABCD, so we think say a bond could say a bois and I say embois. So since our committee, a better Cocoa Board cannot do anything in respect of all cast of bosso and answer on table. So as we speak, a bona a wohono, it remains.
A bona remains. But Cocoa Board ain't mean to cocoa at sa a bona because our Cocoa Board beboka. Ain't yes, a bona remains on paper. But Cocoa Board cannot buy cocoa at that price based on inchemu or the amaye, And even if the committee mojuma, 2 things may happen. One, and it's the price will be maintained, baby I wanna, and now say Mobete born so. Even maintaining it that baby, I want a crown may not make financial sense because mobeboka. In the end, Atiana mobete born so. And maybe you may have to quickly tell farmers no na obia adwimunya ne fine meboa. Because the committee can only bring under the circumstance. A 1 out campaign the committee in deliberations moaba. Say a boy never say a test because you intimate koson tono at the prevailing price. That is the truth. Based on Inchimua,
only a decision of the committee. It is not the decision, or it doesn't lie in the mouth of Jerome to say, me predict say never day. Say never kwakusi. It is not a decision.
But listening to Jerome, no, I can reasonably come to the conclusions that based on Inchimua Jerome, their brain, that committee can only come out with one conclusion. Say yente buone so kakra. Say they are buying so ebetimi a breaky even impo based on commitment on the off takers, no. Ewo. Because it's a commitment with the off taker. You cannot sell below beyond the world market price. Yes,
so that is a proposition being made by Obi, lawyer Obi of Asempa.
Yeah, based on reasons, Jerome Ediamame.
That is fine. You are entitled to your own opinions. So what I say.
Producer price committee, is that committee in place? Like, must set our committee, up or more?
Yeah, the committee is there.
Really?
Yeah, the committee is there.
Are they like sir? Dream also more dream who the solution ebano or must start it and as I feel no more here.
So committee, I have seen there have been discussions ongoing, but as to when the committee is going to sit to finally come out with its findings or its decision, I cannot tell.
Yeah, but that is a problem. That is a problem, Gerald, and I'm not blaming you, but that is a problem because we are in the middle of a crisis. A farmers at Yomukoko, a cocoa producer price would have to sit down and review the status quo now. Omunyantna simple. And a yenim time crop mobetnase. Ain't it really? What should the farmers do?
No, so discussions. I've told you, discussions are there. I consider almost every day, every minute, every hour, every second, the chief executive is on the move.
Yeah, but the chief executive cannot determine the price. I was saying, because our cocoa price review committee, and it has not gotten there. Until really, there is no end in sight as we speak. Well, you need time to more tenacity.
So, Obi, you can't be well. Say, you see, dying war, a demo and son are there.
That's true.
So, which means that you need to plan properly. So, before even the committee possibly was set, Nipa a year Asudi Danaso is the chief executive, and the chief executive has been engaging all these stakeholders. So, I wouldn't be surprised say if the committee should sit tomorrow, the committee will come up with a decision, say in Abia and I say near corner. But as we speak, at the end here the chief executive is to make sure that one a president kuku no more come their money is being paid to those people.
That is a more present to Muko Yama or much set no more aketianebeko.
Obviously, of course.
But will be our own presenting that's
of course.
But will be our own presenting the and so go na ready no or no there was say or chain kakra, right?
There wouldn't be a single bean.
Yes.
A car parcel.
That's true.
And I say,
but farmers maybe should prepare themselves to say reduced rate based on in producer price committee in the Beba, right?
You see, Obi, no question, and say, you just put a fact forth. The fact is there. But as to those who will use the fact and take a decision, I'm not part.
I agree.
That's what I said.
I agree.
I'm not part. So you only communicate the fact there. but the committee or those people who, upon the basis of the fact, will use it to make informed decisions.
More informed decisions. Yeah, I was only thinking that we have to prepare the minds of the farmers about the obvious. I mean, a post-dated reality. That is what will come, because based on the explanations, no cocoa board cannot sell, and as a buy cocoa, go and sell and make losses. And also another whole argument into the price cocoa board would buy should reflect what is pertaining on the world market, and that means was a born I announce at the beginning of this crop season, so that is really the reality.
I'm not willing to rebut your presumption.
That's fine. Jerome, my say at least it brings some clarity to the issues. The farmer be 8 year not what why what is happening into Bibiania ye be sign ababi din komobio. Why I know watch ya o boss Randy Abiama why?
Yes,
Yes, papa.